I was supposed to do this video after Arsenal won the Premier League, but I could not find an editor. I still don't have an editor for the video, so I decided to put it out raw because at some point you just have to start from something. Yeah, so Arsenal won the Premier League and lost the Champions League. If you've been following my posts, the Premier League is the one I really wanted, but I am going to be very honest and say that was a very cruel way to lose the Champions League final. Um, I think that Arsenal gave it their best, but in one breath we can say that the team did well. They've had a great season. They've broken their 22-year wait for a Premier League title. But we can also look at what the small margins that probably would have tilted that Champions League final. For us not to have gone 1-0 up as early as the 6th minute, I think that it was a great start. But I don't understand why the game plan was to be defensive, to defend a 1-0 lead until the 90th minute. I mean, Paris Saint-Germain, for most of the game, they were toothless and they were blunt in attack, but you could see the signs that they just needed one chance. However, they didn't get a chance, a clear-cut chance. That is, they got a penalty, and I posted it on Twitter and said that Mosquera getting a yellow card 1 minute after the restart when he's up against Kivara was quite stupid, and he got that yellow card for delaying a throw-in. I mean, flashback to end of the first half when I think Bukayo Saka had a dreadful game. I love him to bits, but that was a rubbish performance. He didn't step up. I remember him saying that they know the team they want to meet in the final, and I suspected it was PSG because revenge was on his mind. They lost the last 2 times to PSG, but he didn't step up. The mentality was quite very poor. I think that he was a glory hunter in this game, and so the decisiveness we usually associate with Bukayo Saka was absent. So he would get the ball and not really know what to do, whether to pass or to shoot. It was a crap performance. But I digress. I mean, that's an important point to note. But I was going to talk about the goal that PSG scored. I think Mosquera taking a yellow card for delaying. So I was going to say about Saka that in the last minute of the first half, he was supposed to take a corner kick, and his body language was just very silly. He just started strolling. I mean, the 6 minutes were up, so I don't understand why Arsenal fans were, angry about the referee. The referee, I don't know, it was a bit iffy, but I supported him with that decision. Saka's body language was very terrible, just strolling to it. That was the last kick. Just put the ball in, the referee blew, and everybody goes in. And the referee was just tired of watching him catwalk towards the corner flag and told everybody to go in for the halftime. Then 1 minute after the break, so I think that was part of some time wasting tactics, and that was so irrelevant at that point. And 1 minute after the break, Mosquera gets a yellow card for wasting time on a train. Very annoying, just a useless thing. And at that point, Ateta should have been thinking that Timber has to come on at the hour mark. But I know I have a long running battle with Ateta, and practically I think it's decent. But 2 things I would always hold against Ateta is, one, his in-game management is very poor. Arteta is not proactive. He does not react quickly to events on the pitch. And in this game, for instance, Trossard playing how many minutes? 70 something minutes, something. Was just terrible. Saka being on that pitch for that long. Why? Havertz, I think Havertz should have just gone off rather than that midfield gimmick that he's always doing. As soon as Gyökeres came on, and I think that Nkapie should have also gone off. I mean, he ended up playing most of the game injured, and by that time Arteta was out of subs. I don't understand what Zubimendi came to do. Arteta's in-game management is always very off for me. His squad management is also very, very bad. It's something he has to work on, but I assume he's going to learn. But Mosquera gives away the penalty. Dembele scores, and somehow Arsenal take that game to penalties. You see, Eberechi Cheze is one of those players that, and I mean I understood why Arteta dropped him for that long after that Aston Villa game at Villa Park. I am that type of person that doesn't like that nonchalant gimmick with a footballer. Football is war. Football is passion. And football can be pretty intense, especially in England. Much more the Champions League final. I always think that, people praise him, especially when it comes off well, that, he plays the game at his pace, he just flows, he's fluid, he's floating around the pitch, and yada yada yada. But I think there's a time and a place to put your foot through the ball, to be decisive, to bring an intensity to your game, and there's also a time and a place to float around. I'm not against the floating, but it looks to me that Eberechi Cheze wants to float all the time. He came on, didn't have an impact on the game, missed the first penalty, Raya saves from Mendes, and this is not a stake to flog Gabriel on, but who in Arteta's coaching team decided that Gabriel, who is very bad with the ball to feet, is not a good passer. He's not a good passer of the ball. He's jittery with the ball. Why was that a brilliant idea for him to take the decisive fifth kick? I don't know. But it's not to blame Gabriel. I think he had a very great game with his typical blocks, and fantastic defensive performance. But the choice of him taking the fifth penalty, I don't know. I really don't know. But I think Eberechi Cheze needs to take a proper look at himself. And as it stands, if you go and look at my tweets about him when he was at Crystal Palace, I couldn't stand him most of the time. I mean, he's capable of brilliance, but that nonchalance thing, it doesn't sit well with me. He needs to take this summer to go and take a good look at himself. And personally, I would give him 1 year at Arsenal. If he doesn't step it up, he can as well go back to Tottenham. I'm sure they'll need him after next season. But all in all, I'm very disappointed. I wouldn't say very sad, but yeah, I wouldn't have minded that we won the Champions League, but we have the Premier League and there'll be a parade. I'm very curious to see the mood. I feel the mood might be a bit weird, but maybe this may just talking in the moment, and it's just going to be another big party in North London, but it could have been a much more historic party and title parade if the final details of tonight's game, Arteta paid attention, it went Arsenal's way. But I do think there's a part of me that feels that Arteta will would take the Champions League as his number one priority next season. And with the change of managers in the Premier League, he could as well get that. But I think his focus will heavily be on the Champions League, and he might get it. I mean, you've seen the progression in the Premier League, how he finished 8th, 8th, 5th, second, 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 first. Now with the Champions League, it's quarterfinal, semi-final, final. So next season, he could as well have his hands on the trophy. But all in all, if in August you told me that the only trophy Arsenal will win would be the Premier League, I would have bitten off your hands and have taken the offer. But football is now a game of moments, events. It happens in sequences, and you feel that maybe Arsenal really got close to winning the Champions League this year. And 20 years on, after the heartbreak in Paris against Barcelona, they suffered another, this time penalty heartbreak against Paris Saint-Germain. Oh, of course, they are worthy champions, they're a good side, but I didn't think they were magnificent or they blew Arsenal away. I mean, last year it was 5-0 or something, and the game was essentially over in the first half. Well, good end to the season. Up next is the World Cup, and then the new season. I'm also happy that they're not playing the Super Cup and all those. I mean, it would have been good, but yeah, maybe take some time out and prepare for the new season, and we go again.